How did you notice, Sharpie, your guys handling the cancellation of their season?
Yeah, we had just finished a practice round in Statesboro, Georgia, as a matter of fact. I think we came home on March 12th. You're in that mode, especially March and April for us are so busy that, I'm getting ready. We got back, and then in my head, I'm still getting ready to go to North Carolina for tournament the next week. So it just took me a while to accept that, hey, we actually aren't going to play the rest of the season.
Seems like one of the bright spots is that as I walk by tennis courts, there's just a boom of people playing, and it seems like golf is becoming one of the major outlets for society during all of this. If there's any positive in any of this, it seems like golf is revealing itself as the cathartic activity that it can be.
Yes, it has been. I feel like we've been very fortunate that we can keep our distance from everybody, and with the accommodations as far as not removing the flag sticks, not having the bunker rakes. If you're conscious of it, you can definitely stay more than 6 feet away from people. So it's been honestly a blessing for us, at least certainly the guys on the team, to be able to still play and practice has been terrific for them, because I'm not sure both of our South Africans have not been able to do that. Their courses have not reopened, so they can still work out at home. And now I think some of the restrictions have eased over this last week or so, where they can get out. I think they have to stay within a quarter mile of their house, but they still can't play golf. So I feel like we're extremely fortunate to have been able to do that all along.
Have you been playing golf during this?
A little bit, yeah. I tweaked. This is what I get for exercising. I tweaked my back a few weeks ago, so it took me a couple weeks before I could really swing a whole lot again. So, and like I said, that's what I get for exercising, I guess. But yeah, I've been able to sneak out. Coach Eckstein and I have been out a few times. We are still, when some of the players were still in town, we were not allowed to play with them. Just from an NCAA standpoint, so which seemed kind of odd to me personally, but so I've been able to get out with Todd some, and then Cameron, my son, so just playing a little bit. But it's fun. It's an unusual thing for me to do this time of year. I know it sounds crazy, but usually you're much busier than what we have been the last few weeks.
How have you been able to stay in touch with those guys? Golf's a little bit different, where you're not out there running through your offensive scheme or running your sets for basketball. What are you telling those guys in terms of staying healthy and staying in form?
Well, and both, honestly. So Coach Dixon, our strength coach, has been great. He'll send them a weekly program that they can do even if they have no equipment at home. So they can still work out. For my side, I had them just sending me swing videos. The ones that couldn't see, like their instructor that had some, but I just wanted to know that they were still practicing. And it's been a little bit difficult, I know, for those guys at times to stay motivated, because you're used to preparing for the next event. And then right now we don't really know when the next event is going to be. So Dr. Bennett has been great. He would jump on the Zoom calls with the team. We'd have those once a week to just remind them why they enjoyed playing and practicing to begin with. It wasn't just all about the competition. So all of us just enjoy the game, whether we got to compete or not. So it was just about reminding those guys why they love to play golf in the first place. Because the ones that are using the time right now will certainly come out well ahead when all the tournaments and stuff do start back up. So, and it'll start at some point. We just don't know when yet.
You mentioned Dr. Bennett, and he does such outstanding work with student athletes across a number of sports with the mental behaviors and things like that. How did you notice, Sharpie, your guys handling the cancellation of their season, because you were one of the sports where it just ended so abruptly?
Yes. Yeah, we had just finished a practice round in Statesboro, Georgia, as a matter of fact. I think we came home on March 12th. So, but I knew from someone else that we had played the practice round, and somebody said Charleston had just left. They were also competing in the same tournament. So I didn't realize everything was going to go as fast as it did, I guess. And it honestly, John, it took me probably 2 weeks to you're in that mode, especially March and April for us are so busy that, I'm getting ready. We got back, and then in my head, I'm still getting ready to go to North Carolina for tournament the next week. So it just took me a while to accept that, hey, we actually aren't going to play the rest of the season. I think it was just as big a surprise to most of the kids because, and now we certainly know much more about COVID-19 than we did at that point. But I guess it was just the unknown. It was so unfamiliar to have something like this happen, um, that you just kind of took it one day at a time, I guess. But
What were some of the things that you were excited about before the cancellation? Your guys were playing well and
yeah,
seemed like challenging each other.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think we got started off pretty well in Puerto Rico. Was really looking forward to that event being the first of the spring. They'd worked really hard in the off season, played well the first round down there, and then the rains came, so we got canceled the last 2 days there. Um, but it just seemed like we were kind of starting to find our groove, I guess, a little bit, and they kind of got interrupted. We had not played great in the fall. We hadn't played terrible either, just okay. My expectations for the kids that we have on the team right now were certainly pretty high, um, but we just hadn't gotten everybody playing well at the same time together, and it felt like that we were certainly heading in that direction. So I think all of us were looking forward to a pretty good spring. So whether it would happen, who knows? I mean, that's why you go and play these tournaments. But
There's a saying in baseball, hitting is contagious.
yes,
Is that true in golf too, where
oh, yeah,
Mark plays well and everyone else steps up?
correct. Yes, it always it just seems you just feed off the other guys if you know. And for the most part, I'm not saying that's everybody. We've certainly had some players that if they knew some other guys were not playing well, they stepped up even more before. Most of the guys, though, if they know everybody else is doing well, you have that competitive spirit, I guess. You don't want that guy beating you, this round. You always want to beat the guys on the team as well. So it's certainly good play is certainly contagious, that's for sure. And bad play is certainly contagious as well. You just need to get, Mark Lawrence has certainly led the way the last couple of years for us, but Connor Burgess was, I think, and you'll see a lot of him the next year and potentially the next 2 years now with the extra year, but he was certainly kind of finding his way as well. So
It's hard because the last couple of months have felt like about 10 years, but rewind, a year ago or a little more than that in January when they named you head coach, successor to Jay Hardwick, who of course has been an institution
yes,
here at Virginia Tech, and how excited people were about that, including yourself.
yeah.
How was year one going, outside? How was the play, Miss Lincoln, other than than the
Yeah.
ending?
It was a lot of fun, honestly, to I don't know, to just get to run it the way that I felt like it needed to be run. I I feel like I've got a great relationship with the players. Not that I didn't before as well. It changes slightly when you're the head coach versus the I was the associate head coach for a long time, but it was a lot of fun. It was maybe a little bit busier than I thought it was going to be, and it's not that I haven't been around this rodeo for several years, but um, Todd took and Todd Eckstein, our assistant coach now, has been fantastic. By the way, it just took him a little bit of time. Yeah, he hadn't been here for 16 years like I had, so took him a little bit of time to get up to speed. But he's been doing terrific too. So it was maybe a little bit busier, but honestly, I knew I'd have a great time doing it, and it's been more fun even than I thought it was going to be. So I'm looking forward to hopefully this fall. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We'll see when we get to September how that's going. But
In the fall, what are some of the ways in which you're looking forward to pushing the program forward in year two, kind of getting through that transition phase?
so year two should be. So we have two players, Charlie Hansen and Kobe Wlosik, that are coming this fall. Both great kids, very good academically. Work The work ethic is just tremendous for both of these guys. they are going to not only push each other, they're going to push everybody else to work a little bit harder too. That has been the bigger thing. And I'm not saying they didn't work hard before, but we just didn't have, I don't know, the work ethic, I guess, that I wanted to see. We did the strength and conditioning program year round this past year. That's something, you can't just get in great shape over a couple weeks. It takes a while to get to that. And with what Coach Dixon has done with them over the last year, they've made a lot of headway in that. But I think it's just going to be getting, the new guys in here. Obviously, some of the changes, Mark Lawrence, we weren't expecting to come back, but it looks like he may wind up being back next year. It just depends on whatever is best for him. Professional golf may look slightly different this fall than it will next year. So it may be better for him to come back and work on a second degree and play one more year of college golf than it is to turn professional right away. But whether he comes back or not, I still feel we have a great group of core kids here to take things over from him. So he'll be kind of the icing on the cake if he does, but we just want to do what's best for him. So I'm just looking forward to having the guys come back and a couple new faces in the program as well. So it's just always fun. It's kind of a blank slate at the beginning of the year, and you see if you can do it or not.
What are you doing to keep yourself busy, Coach, at home when you're not golfing?
So there have been a few. I'm getting to read a little bit more than I normally would. Certainly some Xbox has been thrown in there as well, but there's a lot of recruiting emails, not as many calls and stuff. Normally this time you'd be getting it started as far as the summer recruiting. That would, with the Scott Robertson, which is a huge event up in Roanoke every year, it would have been this weekend. But with no tournaments and more than likely the dead period being extended through June, you just kind of do a lot of emails, and I don't know, you find the time, I guess, or you just find ways to occupy your time. My garage is cleaner than it was. My closet is certainly cleaner than it was a few weeks ago. So I just kind of find ways around the house and playing and practicing too. So that's not something I usually have a lot of time to do. So that's been fun too. I'm maybe not as good as I was, but I still love the game. So
Xbox, what games is Coach Sharp playing?
Well, there's one, the Hunter. It's like a hunting game. It's pretty fun, but normally it's Formula One is probably my favorite game on there. So it's and I missed the Formula One season. Hopefully they'll get started up safely at some point this summer. But that's the one sport beyond college football and obviously college golf. Formula One's probably the sport that I follow the most. So I've been kind of missing that over the last month or so.
All right, Sharpie. I'd be remiss why I had you if I didn't ask you this. I've been struggling the last few years with the two-way miss. I used to always have the hard left miss.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, the bailout right miss has joined it, and it costs me sleep at night, to be honest.
Okay. Well, the two-way is tough. At least if it's one, you can kind of get rid of one. Normally, it's a better player's thing, John. So you've got that going for you. Generally speaking, the two-way comes from the club being too far inside on the way down. So you and I just need to get together during this quiet time, but somewhat quiet time. We just need to get together and figure that out.
Just keep the club outside, and at least that'll just be the right miss, right?
Yeah, well, maybe, yes. Typically, you'll at least get that controlled fade if you get it a little bit more in front of you coming down. So.
Well, Sharpie, good being with you. Good talking about the greener grass.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And we can't wait to get you guys back in the fall for sure. Thanks so much.
Definitely. You're welcome. Thanks, John. And thanks to everybody that's doing so much for everyone else, the frontline workers. I mean, it's just amazing what they are doing for all of us right now. So can't thank them enough. And I know we'll get things started back up here safely and the right way whenever it's good to do so. So anyway, thank you, John.